Hello there and happy Wednesday. And how are we all doing? I hope you're all having the loveliest day. So today we are going to be, today we're going to be talking about 5 common design issues that some of you have had. And I feel if some of you have had this issue, then loads of you are going to have these issues. So you were kind enough to send me in some suggestions on Instagram and on Facebook. So that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully, the only one I could tag was Anne Marie because she was the only one whose handle I could actually find. But hopefully, you'll see this later on. And if you've got questions to ask me live as well, just pop a question here in the question box. I've got my contact lenses in again. My eye is almost better, and I can see everything again, so it's great. So I can see somebody is coming in there on Facebook, and I'm just going to have a little quick nosy to see if we've got, yes, Anne is there, and Mary Jeffries and Sonia is there. Oh, brilliant, excellent. Lovely, you're also welcome. And listen, if you're coming in the replay, just give me a little hashtag replay and I will I'll get back to you if you have any questions at all. I just thought of something, Anne. If you can screenshot what you're seeing on Instagram, I have never been able to save my Instagram lives. So if you could screenshot for me, if you can, I would be so appreciative. And if you can't, it doesn't matter. So anyway, I think I've got 5 topics for you today, and hopefully some of these will be of use to you. First was from Deirdre on Instagram, and she lives in a cottage, if memory serves me right, with a low ceiling. And she said, "And what can I do to make that ceiling seem higher?" Well, there are a couple of things that you can actually do quite effectively to visually push up the ceiling. And the first thing you can do, and I actually discovered this by default, I discovered this because of an error. I was in Dublin, in Ballsbridge, in a gorgeous apartment, and the curtains were arriving from the curtain maker, and the curtain fitter was there, and I was there, and went to put up the curtains, and the curtains were too long, quite a bit too long. I thought, what am I going to do? So I decided I was going to put the pole up as high as we possibly could, and I would and that message is coming in. She was able to screenshot that for me. That is brilliant. Thank you so much. But anyway, we pushed the curtain pole up as far as we could. And Julia Wasson, if you're watching, it was your brother Adrian, who was a curtain hanger, an absolute pro and fantastic at his work, as indeed is James as well, and everybody in Wasson Interiors in Sligo. But anyway, Adrian popped the pole up as high as possible. Curtains went up. They were stunning curtains. And I realized something. This apartment had only got an 8-foot ceiling, but because we took the curtain pole right up to the ceiling, immediately the room seemed so much higher. And I have been doing that since, with whether it's ready-made or whether it's bespoke curtains. I will always hang the pole with the track to the ceiling. So what you do this then, you create this visual elongation. So it tricks your eye into seeming, into making it seem as though your ceiling height is higher than it is. Another thing that you can do as well is you can use low profile furniture. We had an issue in our old house. There was a mistake made on the drawings, and some of our reception rooms ended up lower than I wanted. And I really did want 10-foot ceilings, and I did not get anything like that. But so in our round room, I did 2 things actually. The brace wall, I actually wallpapered in a vertically striped wallpaper. And this has the same effect. Again, because this was your focal point, this was actually a round room, so the other wall was curved around it, but this wall was more U-shaped. We called it a round room, but it was U-shaped. But so the wall that you were looking at, I had a gorgeous harlequin striped paper on that full wall, and it definitely did make that ceiling seem higher. And the other thing that you can do, and I used it there as well, is to have low profile furniture. So I had a sofa. It was a round custom made sofa to fit in that size and that shape of the room, but it had a lower profile. So because the top of the sofa was lower, a bit like what I've got here, this sofa is quite low, and our ceilings here are they're not ridiculously high, they're just normal height. But it does just make that it gives you that perspective of loftiness, so your ceiling height seems higher. So 3 things you can do: floor to ceiling curtains, low profile furniture, and a vertical striped paper will push the ceiling right up again. And paint your ceiling white, that'll help too. So I hope that helped with you, Deirdre, on Instagram. Actually, let me have a peek at Instagram to see if she's managed to get in. I know not everybody can at this time. Oh, Gabby is there for the love of color. Oh gosh, Gabby, lovely to see you. Emer's there. No, I don't have Deirdre. Now, Anne-Marie hasn't come in either. Anne-Marie sent me a big long message because Anne-Marie's been hanging around Room Junkie for quite a long time, and she's actually the lady who has used the Sharing Secrets Interior Design course to design her old house completely, to stage it for selling very effectively, and then to design her new house. But she has an issue, and she has what I would call a sandwich room. And that's my term. It's certainly no scientific term or no professional term. What she's got is, if you've got your existing house, and say you've got a living room and a dining room, and there's an extension built on. So all the light that was coming into that middle room is now compromised. And Anne did give me very detailed instructions and descriptions of it, because I did ask her one thing: is there a window? Is there light coming into that room from a window? And she said yes, there's a window in the kitchen, but by the time it gets to the dining space, there's no natural light. So this is an issue, and it's a common issue. And sometimes it's a disappointment if you extend your house and this bright room is now a darker room. But there's plenty that you can do. So the first thing I would suggest that you do is that space, I would paint it white. It will definitely bounce light around. No doubt about that. It doesn't have to be a stark white. There's so many gorgeous, gorgeous whites from Fleetwood and Colour Trend, from all the paint companies. Little Green have one called Shirting that I adore. Lovely soft whites, but they're crisp, clear whites, and that will definitely open up that space for you a bit. Now, if you've got, you said it's a west-facing window in your kitchen, and opposite that is the dining space, but the light is not coming in far away. First of all, what I would do as well, I didn't think of this actually until now, if you had a blind or a Roman blind on that west-facing window, take it away and maybe replace it with curtains. And I'll tell you why: because the light that comes in from the top of your window reaches the furthest into the room, and that creates the most illumination and lights up the longest distance. So that's possibly something that you could do. But on that back wall, on your dining wall, and this can be quite dramatic and quite fabulous, and you're the girl for this. If you mirrored that back wall, all of it, that's going to go a huge way to visually doubling the amount of light coming into that space. If you're not brave enough to do that, you could get a big mirror and put it on that back wall, and it would be a lovely feature, or even a big circular mirror or whatever. I don't know what the style of the space is, but having a big mirror there, with no doubt about it, that will dramatically improve the light coming in. Glazing your internal doors. I think I talked about this last week. If you have internal glaze, if you've got internal doors and doors coming into that space, having some glazing put into them, well, obviously you'll share the light from your hall perhaps, or from your kitchen, or from whatever other rooms are around it. That will help. If it's a stud wall, you could actually create internal windows within your space. Wouldn't be that difficult to do, and that would most definitely bring light in. We have got that here in our guest room, and it's miraculous the amount of light that comes in. But for there's a beautiful view that you wouldn't see from that room. So you're catching a gorgeous ocean view as well by having it. But definitely the amount of light coming in by your windows, and they don't have to be big windows, just letterbox, upside down letterbox, vertical shaped windows can be very, very, very effective. Another thing that you could do, but I think you told me that you can't do this, you could have a roof light. If you had a roof light coming in, then obviously, or a Velux, but you said that's not going to be an option. Now, Velux do something called a sun tunnel. I think they call it a sun tunnel. Other people might call it a light tunnel. This can be done, and this can be quite effective, and this takes in the light from outside, but your extension would need to be near, the ceiling would need to be near the roof for that to work effectively. But if your extension is a single-story extension, there is a good chance that that ceiling has got the roof quite close above it, so they just create this tunnel and the light comes in, which is, it definitely works. So check that out. I know Velux make them. I'm sure lots of other people make them as well. They're called sun tunnels or light tunnels. Now, lamps used quite generously in that space will actually open up the light as well. You could have a combination of standard lamps, and you could have table lamps. And don't worry if you don't have plugs in the corners, because you can get fabulous rechargeable lamps, and that will give lovely pools of light, and make sure that you've got good clean light in those lamps. Another thing that you can do is, and I've done this before to huge effect, well, I'm just going to have another little peek into Instagram. Pity I couldn't see the two. Kira's there. Fantastic. Hi, Kira. And Emer and Sonia, Mary Jeffries, Amy, and brilliant. Oh, lots of lovely familiar faces there too. And Yvonne is in as well. What was I saying? Yes, there is a light that you can get, Anne-Marie. It's a flat light. Flat. It's, to be honest, I think it's probably a modern interpretation of the old, you know, those old, oh, what did you call them? Lights that you would get, fluorescent lights that you would have had sometimes in kitchens and bathrooms and garages and stuff. Ugly as hell, but reasonable light. But the newer ones are they're lovely low profile, and they have a nice chrome trim or whatever, and it's an LED panel light. But you can get a daylight bulbs to put into there, so that will definitely, offices, I've used one in a hairdressing salon and it worked amazing. This room was it was really small and it was dark, and I could not believe the difference this daylight bulb. And I think they got that light on Amazon, but any of the light shops will be able to get you. So there's a few suggestions for you. But the one I would definitely do, well, definitely check out the blind. If there's blinds covering the light coming in on the faraway window, get rid of that. Mirror up the opposite wall, that's definitely going to make a massive impact. Any internal glazing that you can open up, fantastic. Up your lamps. I love lamps anyway, and they're atmospheric. They're going to be gorgeous at nighttime, but they will help you, because it is sometimes disappointing to have a lovely light, bright house, and then you've got this dark space. Now, one thing you could do is you could go embrace the bold, go dark, or go home and go very dark in that space. But if this is part of a living room, come dining room, come kitchen, I'm not, without seeing it, I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. I think you need to open it up. It's a family home. You want it to be full of light and energy and happiness and joy, and you're an artist, so you have tons and tons and tons of gorgeous art throughout the house, your own, and you should check her out. It's Anne-Marie Cairns on Anne-Marie Cairns Art, I think it is, on Instagram. But there's a few suggestions that might just help without breaking the bank. Now, to be honest, Yvonne has a little question here. Hi from Lifford. Mum is here watching you on a 65-inch. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't like to see the lines of my eyes on a 65-inch. She thinks you're very knowledgeable. Thank you. Loves your pictures behind you. I don't. There's a story behind those pictures. Oh, coffee and bickies. I could do with coffees and bickies. And her aunt is just walking. They're having a party in Lifford. They're having the room junkie party. Yeah, those pictures behind me are a bit Bermudian-esque. I did bring, some of you know this, I did take what I thought was 2 pictures with me, and I had such a row with my lovely husband to get those pictures into the car. I actually thought I had the 2 sandwiched together. They were exactly the right size, gorgeous, colorful art. I have one. The other one's still in Donegal. I was too late. I'd say we were on the boat before I realized I'd already taken one. So, and I haven't really been looking, but I will get something, but it needs to be something big because I have to fill that space. But thank you very much. Now, next question was from Moira, and this was a question from Facebook, I think. And she said she's in Dublin, and she's living in an apartment block, and her bedroom is overlooked by a bedroom opposite her. What can she do? Well, I remember I have a solution for this because I've used it before. What you can do is, now you can get, you can get those Rufflet blinds, and there's different things that, you know, are costly options that you might be worth looking into. And the ones that have the panels, you know, the night and day ones, they work. But a very simple solution is to get a simple voile that you like and have it made into a Roman blind. And then you can have that down and have blinds or curtains on your window as well. But from a privacy perspective, there's something lovely, and we have lots of voile Roman blinds here. We use them because to shade the sun, but they are very, very attractive, and they diffuse the light, so it's not going to darken your space the way if you had an ordinary roller blind up and down. You know, that's not going to be a great idea, because you know, if you're going to be overlooked and you're in your bedroom, I think you probably would have it down all the time, and that would depress me. But having a voile Roman blind is a wonderful way of creating privacy in a bedroom. But obviously it's unlined, but obviously you're going to need a curtain or something as well. Okay, now this was one from Frances on Instagram, and she did send me a photograph, which I don't have, but she said she's got unused space under the stairs. What should she do with it? And it's open space, it's open. So I wouldn't advise you to put in boxes or baskets or anything for storage. But so I asked her, could you do with a home office, or do you have a home office? And she says she doesn't. So it's very, very easy to turn space under your stairs into a home office. And if it's already open, happy days. So her stairs are coming up this way. So she's got a higher wall there, and then it's sloping down here. So what you can do is get a joiner to make her, this is so simple, to make her a desk. Just apply or MDF or whatever, a desk, L-shaped. So it's going along the long wall and along the short wall under the stairs. And all she needs then is, if she wants to have a filing cabinet or something underneath that, there's plenty of space on the shorter ceiling, or where the roof slopes down, to do that. Get a gorgeous funky chair, a neat one. There's lots of lovely contemporary ones, comfortable. You have to have something that's going to support your back and your neck and all of that. Have it on casters, because you want to be moving it in and moving it out without wrecking your floor. But on the tall wall, which is the boarded off wall under the stairs, get the joiner to put up either some cubbies or some open shelves, and you have a very functional but very beautiful. You could have art, a bit of art there. You could have, whatever, or the bits that you use for work, or maybe one of the kids wants to study there. But it is a very, and have it, if your home is contemporary, have it in a contemporary theme. If your home is more transitional or traditional, marry it in with the rest of the house. But it's a very attractive way of turning that unused space, which will probably become a dumping ground, or else you're just going to have a little table under there with a lamp on it. Now, one thing I would ask you to do, if you're going to be using it for your laptop, and you might want to have some extra plugs, either get an electrician to add in some extra plugs, or get a good quality extension lead, because it's going to be under the table anyway and it's not really going to be seen. But that's your space, your unused space under the stairs, beautifully decorated. Any other questions coming in? I don't think so. So that was Frances, and that was on Instagram. And I'll just have a little peek-a-boo to see if Frances is over on Instagram. What a pity I can't watch at the same time. Storm Hamilton is coming in. My ace curtain floor fitter in Donegal, in Letterkenny. I'm getting distracted now. Caroline's come in, Bridge is in, Lorna's in, Martina's in. Great stuff. Frances is not in. Lots of you in. That's fantastic. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh, Anne Behan has just started following me. Oh, thank you very much, Anne. You haven't been following me. I'll just unfriend you now and unfollow you. How could that have happened? Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share with you came in from Mags, and this was on Instagram as well. And she has exposed plumbing in her downstairs bathroom, and she hates it. She absolutely hates it. And this is probably a bathroom that's going to be used quite a bit. So a couple of things you can do. I go back. Hi, Jane. Lovely to see you. Jane's in Dublin. Sometimes, and this is for you guys who are building or putting in a new bathroom, sometimes you might find that you didn't notice it's on the plans, but when the plumbing goes in, there's actually pipes coming down one wall. Okay. And this is going to look a bit ugly if you've got those pipes are boxed in on one side. So that's going to look a bit asymmetric and unfinished. Okay. What I do is I boxed down to conceal the pipes, and I also boxed down on the opposite side to create symmetrical balance. So it looks like this was meant to be this way always, and then whether you paint it or whether you tile it, it's going to look perfect. So you've got two jutting out pieces, the boxed out pieces, and then the recess behind it, and it looks fantastic. In our downstairs loo, I didn't have a photograph, but you can box in. And even if you box it in and it's coming out proud of the wall, if you paint the same color as your wall, or if you wallpaper it, it's not going to be too obtrusive looking. And we talked about paneling about 2 weeks ago. Now, paneling is a really good way of covering or concealing any ugly plumbing, because let's face it, I don't think there's any such thing as good looking plumbing and pipes. They're just functional. So there's plenty that you can do. Box it in, paint it, tile it, but it does create that symmetry. And even I can remember once in a house, the plumbing from upstairs came down the kitchen, so that in the kitchen there was this area that had like plumbing coming down as well, which had to be boxed out. So we did the same on the other side, and then created a fabulous media unit in the recess bit, and it looked amazing. And because it was boxed out, that gave it a lovely sense of perspective, and it really did look sensational. And that was just masking an ugly problem. So there you go. There are all your questions answered, but I would encourage you to send in any questions at all that you have, or things that bug you about your house, because I'll guarantee that somebody else will have the same issue. So you're helping somebody else, because some people are shyer than others and don't actually, they watch, but they don't ask the questions and they don't post the comments, so that's okay. You can always send me a little private one anyway, but sometimes they get lost because a lot can come in all at the one time. So I don't think I have any questions, and I'm just going to check to see if anybody's got questions on Instagram that I can see, and I don't think so. More of you are coming in. Gary Patton has come in. Lots of you are coming in. Brilliant. That's great. So hopefully those girls that asked the questions will, I'm sure you'll come in the replay, give me a hashtag replay and give me a thumbs up or whatever if you actually can, you know, if you got the solution to your problem, and I'm sure you will. And don't forget, this is the last time you're going to hear me say this, for anybody who needs tons and tons of tips and design advice and inspiration in their own home, for the very, very, very last time, Sharing the Secrets is available until tomorrow night at midnight. And it's available for only €49. So you're saving €248, and you will get, I mean, this course it's the only interior design course that you need. It is nuts and bolts, honest, easy to follow, practical, inspirational interior design tips and advice. It is perfect if you're embarking on any home design project of any sort, whether it's just painting a room or you know, whether you're knocking walls down and creating a whole new extension, or whether you're planning a new build. And if you've got any friends who are planning a new build or an extension or whatever, or you know that they're going to be doing some work in their home, get them to check it out. I've made a big decision. I'm taking it down forever tomorrow. It will be archived because I think sometimes I just know something is telling me, that's my guidance, something is telling me that it's time to let it go. But it has been such a resource, and I'm sure I'll be sad tomorrow when I do actually close it. But it's helped so many of you. Jane, I think you've done it, and Anne has done it, and loads of you have done it. And Anne-Marie has done 2 houses and sold a house on it as well. And some of you are on the middle of renovations at the minute, and you're using it. So I will put the link here. Sometimes I see I'll put the link here and then I get distracted when I come off live and I forget, but I will put the link here. I do think the link might be as a pin post somewhere, but anyway, I'll make it easy. I'll put the link here for you, but you only have until tomorrow to get it for €49. I can tell you the best thing, because you have, even though I'm closing it, you have access forever and ever and ever. You have access for life. You can use it 100 times if you want. You can use it on 100 houses if you want, but it won't be available after tomorrow. So that's a big milestone for me. That's the first time that I've actually archived something, but that I've created. But I'm going to do that because I just know it's the right time to do it. To watch the space, you can be sure there's more coming. So listen, I'll be back on Friday. And I can't decide whether I will chat to you on Friday about, actually, you tell me, which would you prefer? 1, would you prefer some decorating tips to improve a room? Or 2, would you prefer some tips on how to declutter your life over the weekend, how to start decluttering your life over the weekend? I'm on a massive declutter bent at the minute anyway. This time of year, I always do. And we have a reset coming up. We're starting again on Monday with a brand new Reset 24, a decluttering program. So that's a lot of excitement happening next week. So that's it from me. It is a gorgeous day here, I have to say, and I think tomorrow is going to be even more spectacular. So I will get outside, because you know something, today I woke up feeling incredibly anxious. Now, I'm lucky. This doesn't happen to me very often. I think the last time I felt this level of anxiety was during lockdown, when I was so worried about my boys and so worried about the uncertainty of everything. So I'm wondering, is there some full moon out, or is there something, I don't know, Mars and Jupiter or whatever happens? Or did anybody else wake up today feeling very anxious? And if you did, let me know, because there's no reason why I felt like this, but I did. I could feel this crippling anxiety. And I did something, actually, Anne, and you'd be proud of me. And Dolores, if you're watching, you'd be very proud of me. I sat and I journaled for quite a long time. And I journaled all the way through the anxiety. And I did a huge amount of mindset work on myself, which I do a bit every single day, but I haven't been doing this level of it. And it really, really helped. So next week, I might actually incorporate a little bit of mindset work into what we're doing next week, because like lots of people do suffer from anxiety, and these are techniques that will actually help you. And many of my ladies, you've used them, and you know. And I had the most incredible message from somebody yesterday, one of my boot campers, who was concerned about a family member, and she's been journaling about this for a very, very long time. And yesterday she got the outcome that she wanted, which was absolutely incredible. So keep practicing your gratitude, girls, and don't forget, Sharing the Secrets is available only for one more day, and then my baby goes to bed. So listen, have a gorgeous rest of the day. I'll turn off the lights on Instagram first, and I'll see if there's any questions coming in. Chris has just come in. Gary's there from Donegal. Hi, Gary. Okay, no design questions, but that's okay. That's absolutely okay. And I'll go, and I'll see you again on Friday. There we go. Okay, Instagram is closed, and now we shall close Facebook and YouTube. Oh, I've done something silly, I don't know. Okay, silliness has been averted. Listen, today's a fabulous day to be fabulous. So just go do something gorgeous for yourself. Enjoy the tea and the biscuits in Lifford, and enjoy the tea and the biscuits wherever you are. And I'll see you again on Friday. And then it's going to be March. Can you believe that? Wow. January was the longest month in history, and I think February just went like that. So yeah, but it's a great time. It's a lovely, I love springtime. It's a lovely time to be planning things in your home, you know, small jobs, big jobs, decluttering, holidays, you name it. Anne-Marie's just come in. She says, thank you. You are so welcome. And I do hope that some of those tips will be able to help you. And if a few of them could help you, that's going to make a massive difference to the light coming into that space. So keep those questions coming. That's what I'm here for. Chat to you soon.